Welcome to this coffee break. Glad you can join us today. Let's start out. I'm going to talk about some upcoming events that are coming up. I actually present the Ready, Set, Go program. It's twice a day, Monday through Friday. And what I do is I go through some of the top issues, not issues, but some of the features within Mylio Photos. If you're just getting started, or if you want to refresh your course, if you have some questions, feel free to join me. You can go to mylio.com, Ready, Set, Go. Be happy to see you there. And then Angela has live Q&As every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11:30 Pacific time. And this is where you can come with your questions. If you don't have any questions, you are always welcome to watch, sit back and see what other people are asking. You might actually learn a few things. And then we have coffee breaks every Friday. This is an example of one. Angela does these, and that's also at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And she picks certain topics within Mylio Photos to focus on. And next week, she's going to be talking about organized smarter, crafting custom quick collections in Mylio Photos. So that's a really neat tool to use if you haven't tried that out before. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Laurie Rubin. I'm a product evangelist for Mylio Photos. I'm a professional photographer and I specialize in wildlife photography. I'm also a photo educator, been in this space for quite a few years, more than I would like to share, but I love it. It's great fun. All right. Well, today we're going to talk about library stats within Mylio Photos. And one of the reasons why we want to bring this to your attention is that there are many different ways you can view within Mylio Photos. And some of the more typical ways are going into the all photo view, the calendar view to see things on, by date or map by location. You can also look at people by face tagging and organizing by albums and folders. And these are on the left-hand side of the screen. And there's also using quick filters. This helps narrow down results. You can have multiple filters here to try to find things. Here's some just examples by ratings, labels, and flags, dates, files, etc. But there's also another way to find files. And some people don't know about this. It's actually called Library Stats. It has different sections where you can view people, places, file types, cameras, lenses, keywords, and recent media additions. We're going to take a look at those. And we'll be focused on navigating where you can find it, some tips to help you organize and analyze your media effectively, and how to leverage those insights. So that's the plan today. I don't anticipate this being very long, but hopefully you'll learn something new today. So I'm going to go into Mylio Photos and let me show you where you can find this. In your dashboard, and that's this little icon at the very bottom of your screen, if you click on the dashboard, you're going to see library stats here. It's the second one up from the bottom. Simply click on library stats. And here's all those different sections that you can view and find images. So we'll start at the top. We'll take a look at people. And I love this because I don't know any other place within Mylio Photos where you can quickly see how many photos have been tagged. So for instance, Quentin is the top photo or person that I've tagged with 166 images, and Anna comes in a close second with 152. And you can see there's a bunch more images here. You can also see how many total faces have been tagged, as well as how many still need to be tagged. So I still have some to tag, but I leave those there for demos. But the nice thing too is besides knowing how many images have been tagged, I can actually click on any of these faces here. So we'll take a look at Quentin, and I'll go ahead and pull him up, and it automatically jumps into Quentin's face tagging here. So let me just show you. I'm going to pull up one image here. We'll just pull up this guy. And you can see he's been tagged with his name, and that's how Mylio Photos is able to find all those images. So that's a really nice way to quickly find people under library stats. All right, the next one we're going to take a look at is places. And this is unique. You can see there's a little map there, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, but you can see these are some of the places that I've taken photos in Alaska, Northern California, along the coast. And so I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper to find out where these images are. You can see I've got United States and Kenya. And if you go over here on the right-hand side, there's a little arrow. If you just scroll that down, now you can see the different states within the United States that I have some images in. We'll look at California. I've got 20,000 images here. Next one is Wyoming, but we'll look at California. And if you click on the little plus sign, this will expand to show all the different places that I've taken photos within California. So let's suppose I want to revisit some horse racing. I took some photos in Del Mar. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Del Mar. And you can see from across here, I've got 1,500 photos. I'll go ahead and click there. And this will automatically jump to Del Mar Racetrack. And I used to go early morning when the horses were working out, and I would take photos of horses running. And always trying to get the four hooves off the ground. So here's one here. Let me just show you how Mylio Photos is actually finding this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click. I'll just double click so you can see that. It's true, 4 hooves off the ground. And if we go ahead and expand on the info palette, that's this little eye in the right-hand corner, this is where all my metadata is. And for this, we're looking at locations. So I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see Del Mar, California. And that's how Mylio Photos is finding these images. So that is another great way to try to find things based on places that you may have been to. The next one down, we'll take a look at file types. This is very handy if you're running out of disk space and you're trying to figure out, well, why? What photos are taking up the most space, or maybe some videos, for instance. You can simply click on file types, and it's divided into different sections. So here's photos. And I photographed with a Nikon camera, so I've got NEFs, which are raw files. They're fairly large, so you can see I've taken 56,000 images with that particular raw files, and the size is 1.5 terabyte. Next one down would be JPEGs with 16.9 gigabytes. If I wanted to take a look, let's say at some of my raw files, I would simply click on that, and that would open up a panel of all these different raw files that I've taken, not just racing, but all of them. Quite a few. In fact, I'll scroll through so you can see. There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at one of these images here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. This is during a workshop here. And you can see at the top of the screen, we've got our camera data here. We've got when that photo was taken, for instance. If I scroll through, here's again the location. And we can find keywords and smart tags, etc. So this is a great way to find images based on what file type. So if I want to see the file type here, it's actually based in the file name. So if you look here, this LAR with a number was from my camera, and it's got a NEF or a raw file with an XMP attached to it. So that is my raw files. All right, let's go back here. Let's take a look at a few more. We can look at videos. For instance, sometimes movies could take quite a bit of space. We'll click on movie right here, the .movs, and you can see there's some here. So if you wanted to see our movies, you could simply go in there, and even documents. So that's under file types. The next one down is cameras. And I personally love this because I photographed with quite a few different cameras. And sometimes I want to look at maybe an older camera that I photographed with, or a particular iPhone, for instance, and I can quickly go and look to find those images. So at the top, you can see I shoot with a lot of different Nikon cameras. The one I currently shoot is a D800E, which is older, but it works great. So I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. The camera before that I photographed with was a D4. So you can see I've got 20,000 images with the D800E, and then the D4, next one down is 18,000. We'll go ahead and click on this, and I'll show you some images from that camera. So you can see there's a bunch of images here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to click on one of these. Oh, let's do this bear running towards me. He's a happy bear. Underneath that info palette again, or panel, you can see this is the D4 camera. You can see the lens that I shot with, the file size. It is a JPEG, and you can also see some information down here as well. This is particularly helpful if you're shooting RAW, for instance. So you can look at the ISO, f-stops, the lens that you used, the exposure values, and also the number of shutter speed, how long you've taken that photo. So that is under cameras. So again, Nikon, Apple, I shot some drone photos with the DJI, Fujifilm, etc. So these should have all of your cameras in there. All right, let's take a look at lenses. Well, my favorite lens of all time has been the 70 to 200. I use that constantly. I tend to shoot quite a few bit of wildlife, horses, etc. So I like the 70 to 200. And then this next one down is a 200 to 400 millimeter lens. And that thing is super heavy. But for a while back, I was shooting with this. You can see I've got 31,000 images with that 70 to 200. And the next one down, 19,000, is that big lens there. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'll go ahead and click. And let's take a look at this bear in Alaska, for instance. I'll just click to highlight it. Over to the right, you can see the camera and the lens. There you go, 200 to 400 millimeter. And all the specs down below. There you go. And it was actually a little bit, the focal length was actually 550. I had an extender on it, so sometimes you'll see that as well. All right. Okay, let's take a look at keywords. Under keywords, this is a great way to find what images do you add keywords to. You can find them here, and I'll show you another place you can find it that we recently added. But within here, you can see the most keywords I have are from Arizona. This is a place I frequent quite often here in Arizona. I also have horses and elk. So let me show you how Mylio Photos is finding those. So under keywords, I'm going to click on horse. Here's a bunch of horse images, and I'll pull up this image of a horse that my sister used to have, beautiful halflinger. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll down over here on the right-hand side, and you're going to see right here under keywords, there's the word horse. And that is how Mylio Photos is finding all those keywords. Okay, go back. All right, so we've got all those. You can scroll through, quickly find them, but you can also find keywords. And I want to show you this because this is a handy feature. I'm going to go into all photos for just a second and close this out. If I go into the quick filters, this is a little open sidebar icon. You can see that there's quick filters. I'll go ahead and close this up. And these are all different ways that you can search for images. And you can add filters on top of each other. So you can look for multiple, let's say, objects or colors, etc. It's really handy. I love using quick filters. Well, one of the newer features we added was by keyword. And if I just twirl that little arrow down, you can see there's some numbers here. There's also letters as well. So if we want to look under horse, I click on H and then click on horse. And there's all my horses. So there's many different ways to search. That's one of the things I love about Mylio Photos is you can use many different ways. I think there's at least 2 or 3 different ways to search for images, but this little library stat section here is really handy. And the last one I want to show you is the recent media additions. So if I click on recent media additions, you can see by date. There's dates from yesterday. I uploaded an image probably from my iPhone, and you can see all the dates here. So if you know of a particular date that you uploaded some images, this is a great way to find them. So let's take an example. Let's suppose I wanted to see, okay, what did I do on September 16th? I've got 173 images here. So let's go ahead and click on here. Well, this is going to take me to Arizona. So you can see there's a bunch of pictures there. I went there particularly for the red foxes. They had 4 new ones there, so that was fun taking photos of those. All right, so that's the sections there. Wanted to show you. It's one of those features that is really handy, not so obvious, but we wanted to make sure that you were aware of it so that you can start using it. Hope to see you again next week, and have a great weekend, everyone. And take care.
Thanks. Have a
Bye-bye.
good day.